This week on ATV News, Donald Trump wins the 2016 presidential election. Many protests took place on campuses across the country, and 900 migrants were rescued in the Mediterranean. I'm Tony Peak.
And I'm Wes Young.
ATV News starts now. As the results of the 2016 presidential race came in, emotions on both sides were running high, so much so that there was a spike in calls to the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. Between 1 a.m. and 2 a.m., John Draper, who works for the hotline, said that there was about 660 calls, which make this influx 2 to 3 times the amount than on a standard day. The calls continued to come in as the polls closed. Draper said that when the calls come in, people claim it's the election causing them so much pain. But once they start talking, it becomes more about their lives, and that's when the hotline steps in. The calls have leveled off over the last few days. And now we go to Casey Wexler on a report of the Westboro Baptist Church protest.
Westboro Baptist Church members were just outside of AU's campus on Friday, protesting the university's LGBT-friendly policies. There were only 3 protesters from the church, but they were met with hundreds of student counter-protesters, including 2 graduate students handing out flowers.
I think it's amazing to see that this many students are out in support of our fellow students and against something that's so openly hateful.
Yeah, I think after everything that's been going on, seeing this many people come together, there's lots of different ways to protest and to, and to support each other. But I think that comedy is being used quite a bit today, and just showing each other that we can be here and represent us as a campus and us as young students.
Members of AU Public Safety, DC's Metropolitan Police, and AU faculty were on scene managing crowds and protecting protesters. Among the faculty present was Assistant Vice President of Communications, Camille Lepre.
It was very successful from the point of view of safety and public safety. Our students clearly wanted to witness this and see it. I was heartened to see that our students, stayed safe and observed, and some other students as well were in safe spaces on campus. There were 3 spaces on campus, one in the K Spiritual Life Center, one in the Wellness Center, and one in Mary Graydon Center.
The counter-protest, although huge, was not organized by any one student group. Instead, this massive gathering of students occurred organically as news of the Westboro Baptist Church's protest spread.
Honestly, I don't think it was organized. It was just sort of like a word of mouth, and just everyone talking to each other and bringing everyone's own individuality here, and everyone coming together to protest what the rights we should have. I'm here to express my rights as an individual, and especially like the human rights that everyone deserves, especially after this election from this past Tuesday.
This rally has been about a lot more than just the Westboro Baptist Church. It also has become an outlet for feelings that have built up since the results of the election on Tuesday. For ATV News, I'm Casey Wexler, reporting.
Thanks, Casey. It's really powerful to see such an outpouring of love and support right here on our campus during such a trying time.
Absolutely. It was really amazing to see the variety of people that came out to show support for not only what they believe in, but show support for what other people believe in. And really there was a sense of unity on this campus, which was really nice to see, especially after other events that happened on our campus.
I agree. The Democratic National Committee is searching for its next leader after Debbie Wasserman Schultz resigned her position as chair just before the convention in July. Similar to the Democratic primaries this year, the fight for DNC chair pits the establishment wing of the party against a more progressive coalition. Rising above the fray of potential contenders is Minnesota Representative Keith Ellison. A Muslim American, Ellison has received the support of both Senator Bernie Sanders and Senator Chuck Schumer, potentially unifying the party. Ellison is expected to officially announce his run for chairman on Monday. For the latest in entertainment news, we now go to Emily Lytle.
Thanks, Wes. I'm bringing you the latest entertainment headlines from this week. It was a big week for the Kardashian clan, but when is it not? The family welcomed a new bundle of joy. Robert Kardashian and his fiancée, Blac Chyna, welcomed a baby girl named Dream Renee Kardashian on Thursday, weighing in at 7 pounds, 5 ounces, and with a full head of dark hair. Having unique names isn't anything new for the Kardashians. Little Dream will join cousins Mason, Penelope, Rain, North, and Saint. Robert Kardashian couldn't be more excited now that his little girl is here, calling her his angel and expressing how proud his father, Robert Kardashian Sr., would be. And how much baby Dream looks like him. Congratulations to the family. On to some more K-Dash news. Kim Kardashian West has resurfaced after almost a 2-month hiatus from the public since her $10 million Paris robbery that happened in the beginning of October. New father, Robert Kardashian, took to his sister's app to display photos of the family's Halloween, where Kim dressed up as Disney Princess Jasmine to match her daughter's Jasmine costume, and dressing her son, Saint, as Aladdin. Kim looked happy and joyful, holding her children, playing with them, and posing for photos with her husband, Mr. Kanye West. It is nice to see Kimmy so happy after what she's been through the past couple of months. Model Bella Hadid and the singer The Weeknd have called it quits. Again. The pair, who had previously split 11 months ago, have split again after 18 months together. The demise of the pair, who have dominated many red carpets, seemed to be due to the model's increasingly busy schedule and the singer's busy tour schedule. We wish you the best. On to some more upbeat couple news. Former Cheetah Girl and now talk show host Adrienne Bailon and her fiancé, Grammy-winning gospel singer Israel Houghton, have tied the knot in a romantic Paris wedding. The couple, who have been friends for over 3 years, got engaged in the City of Light after dating for only 6 months. The couple exchanged vows in an intimate wedding with just 70 guests in attendance. Congrats to the oh-so-happy couple. Royal hottie Prince Harry is now officially in a relationship, according to the royal family. Prince Harry has been rumored to be dating American biracial actress Meghan Markle ever since he was spotted visiting her Canada home several months ago. The royal family has been forced to put out a statement in order to protect Meghan and her family's security after multiple situations have arisen where she and her family have been hounded by paparazzi. Now that Harry has broken his silence on his new romance, hopefully the couple can go on to be not only happy, but also safe. That's all for ATV Entertainment. I'm Emily Lytle. Now back to Tony and Wes in the studio.
Thanks, Emily.
You know, Wes, I find it to be so refreshing and very respectful of Prince Harry to speak up for his girlfriend, Meghan Markle, and her family. She's been going through so much with the paparazzi these days, and I heard that her mother couldn't even get to her front door. So I think when it comes to this point, he really needed to step in and put out a statement.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm sure there are a lot of people who are very jealous of her and being able to date Prince Harry.
Everybody wants that coveted spot on Prince Harry's arm. 4 Americans have been killed in what appears to be a suicide bomb attack at Bagram Airfield. The attack took place early this morning at the largest U.S. base in Afghanistan. 2 of those killed were service members and 2 were contractors. 16 other U.S. servicemen and women were wounded, as well as 1 Polish soldier who was participating in the NATO mission. The Taliban claimed responsibility of the attack that was supposedly planned for months, praising the strong attack on Twitter. It has been reported that the bomber aimed at the sports ground where more than 100 servicemen and women were exercising. The base, as well as other naval locations, have now taken on more in-depth security measures. Now let's go on to politics with Justin Glick.
Thanks, Tony. Welcome to ATV Politics. I'm Justin Glick. Let's begin with the presidential election that took place on Tuesday. In a major political upset, Republican nominee and businessman Donald Trump won the election with 290 points and Democratic frontrunner Hillary Clinton with 228. Clinton was ahead in the early exit polls and was expected to win the election. So everyone is wondering how Trump won. Clinton did, however, win the popular vote. In his victory speech early on Wednesday, Trump congratulated Clinton on her years of public service, and with running mate Mike Pence and family next to him, he said, "It's going to be a beautiful thing. Every single American will have the opportunity to realize his or her fullest potential." President-elect Trump now receives daily intelligence briefings and will be sworn into office on January 20th, 2017. This is the first time a political outsider has been elected to this office. Now to Capitol Hill, the presidential election shook the Democrats in the House and Senate. The results showed that the House and Senate will be controlled by the Republican Party. It will now be difficult for Democrats to get legislation across and passed. Senator Elizabeth Warren addressed Trump saying, "Let's put our differences aside and work together." Speaker of the House Paul Ryan was very pleased with the election results and met with the President-elect, incoming First Lady, and Vice President-elect at the Capitol to talk about the next steps. Trump also met with Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell for a brief time. In D.C., President Obama invited President-elect Trump to the White House on Thursday to talk about how the transition will be handled. The two met for an hour and a half. Melania Trump met with First Lady Michelle Obama in the White House residency over tea, and Mike Pence met with Vice President Joe Biden. We also learned that Trump has listed some of the potential names of who he would like in his cabinet. They include New Jersey Governor Chris Christie, Dr. Ben Carson, former Speaker of the House Newt Gingrich, and former Mayor of New York City Rudy Giuliani. President Obama also welcomed the Cleveland Cavaliers basketball team to the White House on Thursday to congratulate them on finally bringing an NBA championship trophy home. Meanwhile, anti-Trump protests are continuing in major cities across the country, including D.C. Protesters have been gathering outside of the Trump Hotel, the White House, and the Capitol building. For the most part, the protests have been peaceful, but we did hear that protesters threw blue paint at the Trump Hotel and burned an American flag on the ground out front. On a personal note, in light of Veterans Day on Friday, I'd like to thank all veterans for serving, protecting, and fighting for our country. Remember, freedom is not free. That's This Week in Politics. For ATV News, I'm Justin Gick. Back to Tony and West at the news desk.
Thanks, Justin. And Tony, this election is by far, in terms of shock value, the biggest story of 2016 and will continue to be in the coming months and probably years.
Absolutely. I think we're at the point now where there was a big shock value, that's for sure, but we need to unite as a country and accept the situation for what it is and how the results came out, and we need to move forward with whoever our president is and just hope for the best going forward.
And it's definitely interesting to see where things go from here.
Absolutely.
As anti-Trump protests continue to spark tensions across the country, one individual in Portland, Oregon, has been rushed to the hospital after being shot at one protest early Saturday morning. Portland police say the victim is being treated for injuries that are not life-threatening. The protests in Portland from late Friday night into early Saturday morning also led to police using tear gas on the protesters after projectiles were thrown at officers, Portland police say. Numerous other protests have been taking place across the country since the election results Tuesday night in major cities and on college campuses. More protests are expected throughout the weekend.
Now we go to sports with Kate Ivey.
Thanks, Tony. I'm Kate Ivey, and here's what's happening in sports. The unstoppable Dallas Cowboys defeated the Cleveland Browns 35-10 on Sunday, November 6th. This was the Cowboys' 7th straight win of the season with an overall record of 7-1. Dak Prescott, the rookie second-string quarterback, threw 3 easy touchdown passes, which led to the Cowboys' victory. The other rookie on the team, Ezekiel Elliott, rushed for 92 yards and scored twice. With the Dallas Cowboys currently leading the NFC East, it doesn't look as if 35-year-old and first-string quarterback Tony Romo will be back on the field anytime soon. Moving to the NBA, the Cleveland Cavaliers are ranked first in the Central Division with a 6-1 record. The Cavs are looking to bounce back after being defeated by the Atlanta Hawks 110-106 on Tuesday, November 8th. As the defending champions, the Cavs are no strangers to winning, but are now learning how to digest losses. Channing Frye, the power forward for the Cavaliers, stated, quote, "We are not going to be drop-dead killers from the three-point line every night. We just got to pick it up." Frye continues to motivate the team into the upcoming games. In the NHL, the Pittsburgh Penguins played the Edmonton Oilers on Tuesday, November 8th. The Penguins won 4-3 and are first in the Metropolitan Division. The Penguins goalie Matt Murray saved 25 out of 28 shots during the game and now has an outstanding 419 saves in his career. Left winger for the Penguins, Connor Sherry, scored twice during the game, including the game-winning shot. Sherry now has 59 shots on goal in his career. American University's women's field hockey are the new champions in the Patriot League. American beat Kent State 2-1 on November 9th and now holds a record of 14-6. The goalie on the team, Mara Jacobs, had 2 saves for the Eagles. Samantha McCormick and Natalie Corner scored 2 goals that led to American's victory. The team will hopefully go on to play at Old Dominion University for the finals on November 18th. For sports, I'm Kate Ivey. Back to Tony and Wes in the studio.
Thanks, Kate. You know, Wes, the Wizards, the Washington Wizards and the Cleveland Cavs, they went against each other last night. I know many people were at the game, and it was close. At one point, the Wizards were ahead, and people were freaking out because the Cavs have been, carrying the championship. So, but they ended up taking it. Everybody was super, super excited.
Yeah, and it's nice to have these events as a nice distraction during this difficult time for our country.
Absolutely.
Across the board.
Absolutely. More than 900 migrants were rescued from boats in the Mediterranean early this morning. Fortunately, in the time span of a little over few hours. Doctors Without Borders said that there was 797 people, of which 205 were women and 22 children. 700 were already rescued before dawn. The Migrant Offshore Aid Station was also involved in the rescuing. Despite the effort of these organizations, many people did not make the tumultuous journey to freedom. 2016 has been reported as the deadliest year for migrants crossing the Mediterranean bound for Europe. 4,200 migrants are believed to be the total number of people who have not made it. Those making the journey from Libya are facing the greatest risk.
The Trump administration transition team is now being led by Vice President-elect Mike Pence. New Jersey Governor Chris Christie had been leading the transition efforts, and the campaign says Christie will now serve as the transition team's vice chair. Governor Christie has had trouble escaping the spotlight as the Bridgegate scandal continues to make headlines and further implicate the governor in the day's actions. This change could indicate troubles for Christie, who many expected would have a place in a potential Trump administration, most commonly speculated as Trump's Attorney General.
For this week's finance report, we turn to Liz Holmes.
Thanks, Tony. I'm Liz Holmes with this week's finance report. During the election on Tuesday night, Dow futures fell almost 800 points. Investors were incredibly concerned, but by Wednesday, they were positively looking at Trump's claims to economic changes as president, such as tax cuts, a reduction on regulation, and increase in infrastructure spending. With this new perspective, the Dow rose more than 200 points during each of the next 2 days. There is a new soda tax for some cities after the election. In San Francisco, Albany, and Oakland, California, lawmakers have decided on a tax on soda that will help fight issues of diabetes and obesity. The money generated from the tax, about 1 or 2 cents per bottle, will be used to fund public health programs. Before the election, it seems like the Federal Reserve would raise interest rates in December. After the election results, however, this increase will need to be reevaluated. Trump has spoken in support of low interest rates and will have the ability to pick up to 5 new members of the Federal Open Market Committee in his first 18 months. But the thing is, interest rates do need to be raised a little at a time to proactively protect the economy. The Dow Jones and NASDAQ both gained significantly this week, closing at 18,847 points and 5,237 points respectively. The S&P 500 also gained this week, but peaked on Thursday morning and closed on Friday at 2,164 points. That's This Week in Finance. For ATV News, I'm Liz Holmes. Now back to Tony and Wes at the desk.
Thanks, Liz.
You know, Tony, the implications of selection are just so unknown at this point. I mean, as Liz was saying, there's just so many things that could happen, and we truly just don't know how things will play out in the coming days, weeks, and months.
I think that's just something we have to prepare for right now. A lot of things are unknown, but hopefully in due time, a lot of more certainty will come into play.
Hope for clarity.
Absolutely.
Now let's see what's happening around the world with Sumita Bhattarai.
Thanks, Tony. I'm Sumita Bhattarai with World News. The Taliban made an attack on the German consulate in Afghanistan this past Thursday. The attack was made by a suicide bomber who rammed a truck into the building. The attack left more than 120 people injured and at least 4 deaths. The Taliban relayed that the motive behind the attack was due to airstrikes that killed many civilians in Kunduz earlier this month. Moving on, Haitian President Jocelyn Prévert has relayed that Haiti is facing a major food crisis. The primary cause for this crisis is due to the Hurricane Matthew, which occurred early last month. Not only did the hurricane have a great impact on the people, but it also had a great impact on the agriculture industry. Haiti is grateful for the great amount of help received since the hurricane hit. However, due to the state that hurricane left Haiti in, President Prévert says that it is not enough. It is estimated that Haiti lost $2 billion from the hurricane. In response, the United Nations goal is to raise $120 million, with the United States pledging a sum of $23 million. Lastly, on Tuesday, the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, announced that they would be withdrawing the old 500 and 1,000 rupee banknotes, and in its place will replace them with new 500 and 2,000 rupee notes. This action made by the government is said to be in response to tax evasion and corruption. The old 500 and 1,000 rupee notes are very common in India and account for about 85% of the money in circulation. That's it for World News. I'm Samita Bhattarai. Back to Tony and Wes in the studio.
Thanks, Samita. You know, Wes, it's just so devastating, the continuous hardships that Haiti needs to go, that Haiti is going through. I don't even know how to put it into words. It's one thing after the other with the earthquake, and now, you know, with the hurricane. Continuous aid is needed, and I just hope that many organizations reach out.
And week
help.
after week, we have to keep reporting on these issues, and hopefully relief comes soon, and we don't have to keep telling these horrible, horrible stories.
Absolutely.
After saying throughout his campaign that he would fully repeal Obamacare, President-elect Trump is now saying certain provisions of the law might remain. Under the Trump administration, young adults under the age of 26 will be able to remain on their parents' plans, and people with pre-existing conditions will not be able to be denied coverage. In an interview on Friday, President-elect Trump said his position change came after his meeting with President Obama, who suggested key parts of the Affordable Care Act that should remain. Now for our weather report, we go to Cordelia James.
Thanks, Wes. I'm Cordelia James with your weekly weather forecast. After the development of relatively weak La Niña conditions in the Pacific, scientists say that we can expect drier, warmer weather in southern parts of the United States and wetter, cooler weather in the northeastern parts of the country throughout the next couple of weeks. That being said, expect mostly cloudy skies on Monday here in D.C. with the occasional drizzle in the evening. Be prepared for the rest of the week to follow suit with cloudy skies on Wednesday with a high of 61 degrees and a low 44 degrees with gusts of wind reaching 13 miles per hour. And finally, the week comes to a close with highs in the upper 50s and lows in the upper 30s. Saturday is sure to be especially cloudy with 55% chance of rain in the afternoon with winds reaching as high as 30 miles per hour. That's all for your weekly weather forecast. I'm Cordelia James. Back to Tony and Wes in the studio.
Thanks, Cordelia. I know this might be our last grasp at warmth for the rest of the year.
I know. I'm holding on to it. It's so refreshing to go outside and not have to be so bundled. But you know what? That's what winter is. I mean, not so much lately, but hopefully we'll get into some, colder weather. I can put on some sweaters.
I'm definitely ready for some infinity scarves myself.
Some sweater weather, though. A federal judge has demanded that Michigan authorities must deliver bottled water to any home in Flint, Michigan, where the government hasn't verified that a filter is working properly. This comes after a victorious Thursday ruling where plaintiffs were striving for more ways to have clean water distributed more easily. District Court Judge David Lawson ruled that unless the government can prove that the Flint home has a well-installed and therefore working water filter, the 96 half-liter water bottles per resident must be delivered to each household per week. Lawson ordered the completion of his order by December 14th. For the latest in campus news, we turn to Chelsea Fosu.
Thanks, Tony. I'm Chelsea Fosu, and this is What's Up AU. It's safe to say that this has been an eventful and emotionally driven week. Across the nation and on our very own campus, individuals are processing not only their reaction, but the reaction of others towards the culmination of this very contentious presidential election. Hundreds of American university students gathered to protest as emotions ran rampant following the results of President-elect Trump's victory on Wednesday night. At the peak of the protest, students burned small American flags outside of the Mary Graydon Center. Opinions regarding the event varied. One student said it represented the United States going up in flames. The university, however, released a statement stating that they do not condone the burning of the flag. This statement raised questions of students' freedom of expression on college campuses. All in all, despite the varied opinions circulating, one thing remains clear. This week was a historic time for our country. In this time of disparity, the AU sense of community will be tested. If you are feeling majorly affected by these recent events, do not forget to utilize the resources provided on campus, including the Health and Wellness Center, as well as the K Spiritual Life Center's meditation sessions that occur every Tuesday. Stay safe and stay hopeful. On a lighter note, here's what to look out for during this upcoming week. On Wednesday, November 16th, the speaker series featuring Mark Schaefer, What Matters to Me and Why, will be held in K Lounge at 4 p.m. The series provides opportunities for members of the AU community to reflect about values, beliefs, and motivations that have shaped their personal and professional journeys. You can RSVP at kslc@american.edu. On Thursday, November 17th, there will be a Sleep Like a Pro panel discussion. The panel will include representatives from the Counseling Center, Student Health Center, and the Psychological Department's Stress and Emotion Lab. They will help you debunk any sleep myths and questions about your sleep health. The discussion takes place from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. in MGC 245. I'm Chelsea Fosu, and this has been What's Up AU.
Thanks, Chelsea.
Well, Tony, American University is consistently regarded one of the most politically active college campuses in the country, and this week was no exception.
Definitely. Honestly, it was very shocking and emotional to witness what our campus was exposed to, what situations the students, were just so passionate about. And this election really has brought out a very interesting side.
But in terms of the Sleep Like a Pro panel, I'm sure if you asked any of my roommates, they'd think I was speaking on the panel myself.
Oh, well, Wes.
That's it for ATV News this week. Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. I'm Wes Young.
And I'm Tony Peak. Thanks for watching.